For some business owners, there's a ticking time bomb that's going to have a serious impact on their wealth. Today, I'm going to share with you what every business owner should know. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson. This is Nomad Capitalist, where we help 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs and investors legally go where you're treated best. And I came across a post on social media from someone who is in the sales business and someone whom I respect. And he made a good point about what are called Henrys, Henrys. And the comment is this. One of the major blind spots of entrepreneurs is that we often feel invincible and fail to recognize that, like most Henrys, high earners, not rich yet. We have a finite, defined earning period that can be bookended by the loss of relevance of our product or service, our age, some sort of catastrophic event, or other unforeseen liabilities. Many of us are lavishly blinded by the apparent inevitability of our invincibility. That peak defined earning period is slipping away without creating the wealth that can extend for generations if we plan powerfully. Now, you may have heard this acronym, Henry, high earners, not rich yet. But he makes a very interesting point. I think one of the reasons I've been successful in multiple businesses and now here at Nomad Capitalist is I figure every year is the last year. I figure it's all over. I figure everything's just going to fall apart. And I've told you how adapting into the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle, along with simply maturing and being older and having been in this business game for close to 2 decades now, I have a certain level of comfort and a certain level of security now that I didn't have for so long. But to me, one of the greatest things that you can do to be successful in business and in life is to realize that you're not invincible. To realize that things can change, that winds can change. I talked to a gentleman recently who had an incredible business. This guy was making millions of dollars a year for almost like 35 years. And then COVID hit, and who would have foreseen that? Who would have foreseen that his business would have taken a hit? I still don't entirely understand why his business took a hit due to COVID. I don't get it. But fortunately, many of us who are nomad capitalists could be defined as wealthy. So it's not the not rich yet doesn't apply. But if you are sitting in a Western country where this gentleman is sitting and the people who he's talking to are sitting in this case, the United States, there are a lot of high earners out there who are not rich yet, and they are going on. I know some of these guys. I have met some of them. I've met some of the people who are in this audience, as well as others, who make $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, $2 million a year, and it's all gone by the end of the year. Now, the big culprit that we talk about here a lot, of course, is taxes. And depending on where you live in the Western world, and perhaps the United States in particular, that could be as much as half or close to half. And so let's say you make $1 million a year. Maybe you pay $420,000, $450,000 in taxes. And then, of course, because you live in a Western country, because you live where you're from, because you're surrounded by other people that you feel the need to keep up with, you go out and you buy the latest toys, you buy the latest artwork. I know there's a community of people where they all buy artwork from one guy. And it's not cheap artwork, and they hang on the walls because that's what they do in this circle of friends, this circle of colleagues. And they drive the same cars, they live in the right neighborhood, and you can spend $550,000 pretty easily anywhere in the world, but especially in a Western country, it's not that difficult, especially when you're trying to keep up with other people. And so what I've done personally is I have dramatically increased my business by realizing I'm not giving most of my money away. I see the benefits of every year I become wealthier because I save, I invest. I'm doing new things with wealth that I perhaps couldn't do as well if I lived in a country where they were taxing almost half of my money and I had to pay to keep up with people. And so there's been a lot of personal benefits to that as well. But as a result, people who live the way I do and the way that we talk about here at Nomad Capitalists don't have to worry about being not rich yet because they can develop wealth faster. And by removing some of those key elements that we've talked about for years, of course, taxes. You can reduce your tax burden, even if you're an American, to 0, 2, 5, 10%. You can do that. and you can put that extra money to work for yourself. Now imagine you kept spending money on all the other stuff that you're spending it on, but you reduce your taxes from 45 to 10%. Let's say you make $1 million a year. That's $350,000 a year that you could put to work in a cryptocurrency, in a dividend-paying stock, in income-producing real estate, in any number of things. And depending on where you invested it, if you wanted to continue to invest in the United States, I personally don't do that, but in a market like the United States, you could go in and get debt, and you could put down $350,000 on a pretty substantial property or a series of properties, and you could grow your wealth so that you wouldn't have to worry about being not rich yet. And to me, that's the power of the nomad capitalist lifestyle. There is a click that you will never see until you actually do this, where you will realize, hey, I feel more in alignment. Your business will also be more competitive because with all the extra money, let's say, rather than invest in in income-producing real estate or dividend stocks or whatever, let's say you want to put that money back into your business. How many people out there are running ads? Could be putting together an ad campaign, could be doing whatever with $350,000 or some part of it, or more if your income is higher. How many of you could do something with that money to grow your business much faster and leave those competitors in the dust? I'm always fascinated when I see on the bottom of emails from companies that I do business with, their addresses in Malta, their addresses in Cyprus, the Cayman Islands, the UAE, what have you. I realize these people are reducing their bills so that they can have more money to be in business. They can hire more employees. They can grow faster. They can take advantage of opportunities. In the same way an investor would be prepared when an opportunity arises, these people are prepared when a company becomes for sale or they want to take advantage of a certain opportunity because they have a war chest. How many companies run by high earners not rich yet in Los Angeles, or in New York, or even Austin, Texas, or Adelaide, Australia, or wherever else? How many of them have a war chest? How many people do you know in business who've had a war chest? I have friends who have businesses in high-tax countries. Again, they are, in some cases, playing it small because what's the point? Why would you earn a bunch more money to give half of it away? There's just a soulful issue with that. There's a block, in my opinion, with anybody who understands how tax money is wasted in many countries. But they're also not able to grow their businesses as much because it all has to result on their work. They can't go in and hire people because, sure, they can hire people in less expensive jurisdictions, but many of them just hire locally, which costs a lot more. They don't have that much money left over to begin with. And so there's a dramatic change in how you can grow your business with hiring, with acquiring, with everything that comes with that. How you can invest extra money that's left over. How you can change your way of viewing work and money. And how you can get away from being just a high earner to being a high earner with a high net worth or ultra high net worth. I made a video almost 2 years ago now about how to become an ultra high net worth individual, $30 million net worth or more. And the first thing is you've got to make the most of your income. And most people aren't because they're giving most of it away. And that's why they're high earners, but they've got to spend it all. And they're not rich yet. And one day, perhaps, just perhaps, their business slows down. And what are they going to do then? Do they have the next business idea? What I'd like to do is be able to be in control of when do I sell my business. And by the way, be able to keep more of that sale because I have a 0% or very low capital gains tax rate. And then I can take my time moving on to the next thing, knowing that I have sustainable wealth that not only can take care of me, but as the gentleman mentions, can reward, not only his generation, but future generations to come and have a lasting impact, have a legacy. Because he's right. Many people, many businesses do have a defined earning period. I always remember watching an episode of Shark Tank many years ago. Robert Herjavec says, nothing wrong with making a whack of cash while you can, to a business that he believed had a very strong defined earning period. Some businesses do go on forever, and I think part of why the benefit of new media and building things like YouTube channels is that you can continue to have brand equity, and people should do that. But even with that, many of us will have businesses that will not last forever. And so if you can control when you exit on tax-friendly terms, if you can control how much money you put away, how you reinvest that money, to me, that's the secret to being a high earner, high net worth individual and not being someone who's not rich yet. Don't stop now. We've got well over 1,000 more videos here on YouTube for you to watch and learn how to go where you're treated best. And if you want to work with Nomad Capitalists personally, go to nomadcapitalist.com/apply, learn about our unique, tried and true process, garnered over years of experience, and learn how you can become our client.